Hey, what's up you guys? This is Junior Trader and in this video we are taking a look at can the SMCI earnings make it super bullish? We have SMCI earnings on 3rd of February. We'll take a look at a couple of articles, my opinion, and also the price action, what we need to see. Before going further, as always, none of this is any financial advice, only for education purposes, just sharing my opinion. Please do your own thing. Now, I just noticed something that average range and the last day trading range is exactly penny to penny on my tools 1.47, 1.47. This helps you to actually, guys, to plan your exits for the day trade and how much range has been covered. Should you take the trade anymore? Is there anything left in the in the game for the day? Like all these tools, like this is just one of the elements I'm telling about my tools, but there are a lot of elements in my tools that you use and you can use for day trading, swing trading, multi-day trading. Again, if you need access to my tools, details are in the description of this video. Now, okay, coming back to the SMCI earnings soon that we'll be having, that is on 3rd of February, the same day as the AMD's earnings. Price action and the articles, there is just no correlation right now because seems like everything looks like positive for SMCI for this coming quarter, and even the articles are very positive. However, price action is not confirming that. We did see a good pump to the upside on this very day, and it personally changed my opinion to bullish on SMCI, this very candle. All right, and I was like, okay, this is it. All right, this is the start. We have a bottom, we have a breakout, and with a strong good volume and another level almost testing that now. The problem is that unfortunately we lost 32 in coming days, and then thereafter we continued down again, and this was the pretty much the last line of defense, $30 around, and this is where we started to lose. I talk SMCI in my 25 plus stocks coverage on my Patreon with my members. So if you're a member, this is not a news to you, but here on my public channel, I want to provide a bit of a recap here as well. So this is where we did break, did lose, and unfortunately we are back in the weakness. However, earnings, the way things are looking like now, I don't know how much data put out there is accurate and whatnot, but the way things are looking like, let's go over that first, and then we'll take a look at the price action earnings scenarios, what we will have to see for things to turn full on bullish. So they are going to report technically right now revenue estimate of 10.42 billion. That is just double. Last time it was 5.83, and it has hovered in the range of 5 to 6 billion around. So they're getting, the estimate is 10 billion, while when the last time earnings happened, the price was at even though it wasn't the decline, but price was still at 48, and now they're expected to report 10 billion, but price is way down. And that's why I'm telling you, you have to trade with the price action, not on any other basis, if you want to be profitable in the market, because price action is the source of truth. Everything else could be just completely uncorrelated. All right, now here their EPS, earnings per share, is also estimated higher than the previous last time. So it's not just that the earnings are just the revenue is increasing and earnings per share are going down. No, their earnings per share are also going up. So like I'm not able to find anything that tells me that it's a negative sentiment. It should be a negative sentiment. I don't see any of that. Now also we have couple of articles that goes a little bit on the bigger time frame as well, and there is the 84% year over year growth technically that SMCI will be doing. It's right over here. About almost like 84%, 83.95% from the year ago quarter's reported value. So year ago quarter's reported value, that is 83.95% growth. So it's looking good. It's looking good for SMCI. And we have these positive news as well. Taiwan unit enters facilities agreement, super microcomputer inclusive, and Taiwan unit enters facilities agreement, SEC filing. The credit agreement provides 710 million revolving credit facilities, an option to increase facilities up to 2 billion, and so yeah. And I just don't see in the earnings and the revenue that any negative side of SMCI right now, but we'll get to the price action. That's the most important thing. SMCI server and storage segmental revenues surge, right? So here's this another article from the 22nd of January that Supermicro's computer server and storage revenue grew 50.2% year over year in fiscal 2025. The server and the storage revenue surged from 6.5 billion in fiscal 2023 to 21.31 billion in fiscal 2025, indicating a massive growth driven by the rising demand for liquid and air-cooled GPU and PCIe-based AI servers for training and inference. In terms of revenue mix, the server and storage segment accounted for 92.2% of total revenue in fiscal 2023, increasing further to approximately 97% of the top line in fiscal 2025. Partnerships with vendors like NVIDIA and AMD device position Supermicro Computer to deliver the latest GPU-powered platform, which remains in high demand among cloud providers and sovereign AI projects. Expansion in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East offer additional growth avenues. So, I just am not finding anything that tells me there's a negative outlook for SMCI going forward, right? Well, let's get back to the price action, because price action is just completely telling a different story, right? So we have had, these run-ups. As I said, this was a good pump, but we failed to push up and continue in that strength. Unfortunately, below this 30.63, we are back again in the negative structure. What we'll have to see in the earnings, we need to see a gap up above this level of 32, this blue box above. If SMCI can do it, very simple. It's a bullish continuation to the upside. And very simply put it, if we can't gap up above 32 around, it's going to be in the bearish sentiment. Remain in the bearish sentiment, and any gap below $29 is just a continuation of a collapse to $25, $17, unfortunately. To me, things looks like we may see a gap up to the upside, but with SMCI, for me, is a low conviction stock, even if everything is looking positive in the articles and their situation. But price action, if it's not confirming it, I am really not gonna push the button on this thing. It's something that it's a low conviction stock for me. It's just there's a cloud hanging over it that this thing is just not able to push through it. And so you gotta be very careful with SMCI. Now there's another third scenario, as if we just stay again between the level of 32 and 28. If we just stay between 28 and 32 after earnings, technically we are not overly bearish going forward, but we are also not bullish. So which means your money is dead money in this, pretty much these, SMCI stock then. So you gotta be, careful. Definitely, as if we break out above 32 area, that blue zone above is what we need to see in the earnings, and that will then open up the doors on SMCI to like level by level 35, but 41 again is possibility. I still have a zone marked from last time there for other purposes that we had back then, but I'll have to check out the videos what the purposes were, but I had this box there. So, and it's still very important area. That's why it was there before as well. So anyhow, it all comes down to earnings, but that's my take on SMCI. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like, subscribe, and with that, I'll see you in my next videos. Take care, bye.